Hello, I'm William Gallagher, and this is the 58 Keys Writing Workshop set of videos where I'm a writer, you're a writer, we talk about things. It's just that we start with me because I'm here in front of the camera, and then I wait for you to disagree with me in the comments below. It has to work like this. Otherwise, what's the point? Just lecturing at you? This is a discussion, writer to writer, about things I think are important, and usually things that I think are important in maybe unexpected ways. The thing I want to talk to you about today is flash fiction. I have some problems with flash fiction, but I also think there are some big benefits of it. But yeah, flash fiction. I know you thought of this, or you would have thought of it. Hang on. For sale, baby shoes never worn. Attributed to Ernest Hemingway, a 6-word story. I mean, nobody knows for sure if it was him. May even have been done on a bet or something, which kind of throws out some of my following argument. But okay, I don't think it's possible to argue that short fiction can lack punch. I mean, the way I just read it was a bit flat, I thought, but you read that on the page, you get it, you get the whole story, and it is moving. Great. Can't possibly criticize flash fiction, and yet flash fiction needs to be done for the reader. I mean, I always think this, writing is not for writers, it's for the reader, for the audience. And that applies to everything, I really mean that. But in this case, I've kind of seen it change. I've seen writers, I don't think they would vocalize it this way, but they have demonstrably made it something for them. I mean, okay, I won't tell you this guy's name because I've actually forgotten it, but I once went to a talk by someone who had won prizes for flash fiction. I think he may even have been the national flash fiction champion something. Bigger than national? It was bigger than that, it was huge. Okay. And he read from some of the work, and I was thinking, what is it like what I just did? It sounds a bit flat, but on the page, fine. So he's talking away about all this stuff he does, and you know, I'm not uninterested, right? But I buy his books at the end. He has box after box of books. I think there may have been 10 different volumes, and I might have bought 3 of them. And then I got home and I started to read them, and they were dreadful. I mean, really poor read. I mean, I did sample all the books I had. I didn't finish any of them. They were that poor, but I think a reason I knew it was fine to just give up and walk away from them was I was starting to remember things he'd said about the writing that had meant one thing when he was saying them, but now seeing the result seemed to me to mean a different thing. He was really, really hot on the fact that he had spent no more than 1 minute, I think it was, on each story. And I'm thinking, I don't care how long you spend on the story. There's no benefit to me as a reader. There's obviously a benefit to you. So, you know, whoop-de-doo. You wrote a book in an hour. How very, very grateful for you. But side thought, Carrie Fisher once, I mean, I know you know as an actor, but you know as just an incredible writer as well. I wasn't in the conversation on Twitter, but I kind of saw it in passing days later, or I would possibly have been a fanboy about it at the time. But she mentioned something, I can't remember the phrasing, but it was something about, she was complaining really about how long it takes her, she's dead, took her to write one sentence. And I'm thinking, yeah, but those sentences, yeah, they're worth it, I think. The time doesn't matter, and all this guy was focused on really was the volume and the speed of it. And I mean, he won a prize, at least one, for it, so somebody must have enjoyed the stuff. But I just remember reading that book thinking, maybe if you'd spent 2 whole minutes on it, I might have had a better read at the end. That's my problem with flash fiction. If you are doing it because you think it's easy, if you're doing it because you believe it's quick, well, fine, but, you know, why do I have to read it? You know, keep it to yourself for it, kind of thing. On the other hand, I was quite tainted by that, actually, and it's put me off the whole of flash fiction, and I realise it shouldn't, and the Hemingway quote is definitely a reason why not, but also I think my writing rather, has been helped by being required to be concise. Now, I must have tried flash fiction somewhere, not enough that I was remotely interested in continuing, but I wrote something like 16,000 pages of a thing called BBC CFAX back in the day, and you had to be very, very concise there. Headlines were 39 characters across, not 38, not 40. It was about 70 words per page. Each page had to function on its own, even if it was one of a series of 12 or something. And you could have no one-line paragraphs, no five-line paragraphs. There were all sorts of these conditions and things. And you got so used to, well, I was going to say knocking them out, really. Let's go with crafting. Yeah, that sounds better than I dash it off in a minute. I got very quick at doing this. I mean, thousands of these things, of course you would. But in that case, the focus was still on the audience, on the reader, not on me. And I mean, I got a bit smug. When you came up with a 39 character headline straight away, that was a good feeling. And that is very nice for me. Why should the reader ever care? CFAX, it had those conditions. The number of lines per paragraph was an editorial decision, but things like the number of words and things like that were a technical decision of how much could be conveyed on screen at one time. It was a requirement of the mechanism for delivering the piece to the reader. That's what it was there for. It was not to make things happy for me about doing things. And yeah, even though, I mean, I find it a little hard to adjust to writing books after writing so concisely, but writing concisely is a skill, and it is worth, I was going to say practicing. I think about poets sometimes and the amount of power they put in every line, every syllable, literally every syllable sometimes. And I envy that, and I don't have that. But I know, for all that I keep talking, I am able to write concisely when needed. And I'm absolutely certainly able to cut things down. Sorry, quick example. I'll do this fast, William. BBC CFAX used to have a page for children to do with the children's series Blue Peter. Blue Peter was a series that had what they called makes. They would make toys and things out of famously washing up liquid bottles and things like that. And I think on my first or second day, the job there was take the emailed instructions, put them in. It worked. I don't know how I knew this, but it was something like 12 pages, and I got it down to 2 because I so clearly remember the editor leaning over my shoulder saying, "But you haven't." Oh, you have. But there's, oh, there it is. She actually asked me to extend it out because the show liked it to be a bit longer. But I was proud of that. You can hear it in my voice. I think the ability to convey a lot in a little space is very definitely a skill. So if flash fiction is your way to do that, great. If it's your way to be quick writing something out, well, okay. Think of it like morning pages, maybe. Get things done and on the page, but don't make the rest of us suffer. Doesn't it come down to this with anything in writing? There are no rules in writing, but if you break them. And in the case of flash fiction, it's just, if you must do it brilliantly. That seems simple enough to me. At least spend a minute and a half. Okay. Right. I'm looking at you to see if you're a flash fiction writer. Tell me if you are in the comments below, because I'm really serious about this. The entire point of this is to have a natter between the two of us, writer to writer, getting on with things, discussing getting on with things, and not writing for a little bit. But for the meantime, that's it for this particular 58 Keys workshop video. Thank you very much for watching. Now take care of yourself. Write more, a little longer than 6 words. Oh, Weird Al Yankovic has a song called "This Song's Just 6 Words Long." Oh, it isn't, but very, very well done. Thanks for watching. Take care of yourself. Write more, and I'll see you soon.